Hey Alf, 2 minutes mate. Hey, no, the red light's on. No. Welcome back, thanks for tuning in. Today's video is about rhythm and blues licks. For me, what brings out a solo is complementing what's being played underneath what you're doing. So we want to utilise the chord shapes and intervals. I'll go through it step by step and show you how you can maybe create your own licks, and I'll give you a few ideas as well. So let's go in close and we'll get started. See you in a moment. The first thing we're going to look at is the chords that we're going to use in our 12-bar chord progression. Predominantly, blues uses dominant seventh chords, so A7, D7, E7. I'll go through each one with you anyway, so you can learn how to play them, okay? The first chord is an A7. Okay, so essentially you're playing a normal bar chord and then taking this finger off, which exposes this note here, which is a flat 7. Okay, so what we can do is we'll bar across the 5th fret like this, then we'll put our third finger on the 7th fret of the A string, we'll skip a string, leaving the D string open to this point here for the flat 7, and then we'll put our second finger on the 6th fret of the G string, and then the other two strings are in the 5th fret with our bar. So that's an A7. The second chord we're going to use is a D7. We're going to bar across the 5th fret again, but on this occasion the root, which is the lowest note of the chord, is actually on the A string. So if we just pop our finger just ever so slightly touching the E string, it kind of mutes it. Yeah, so we've got 5th fret across here. Then we're going to put our third finger on the 7th fret of the D string, our little finger on the 7th fret of the B string, and of course, so all the other strings are going to be back here. And that's a D7. Okay? For the E7, we'll shift the position or the shape up to the E root here. So everything applies for the D to the E. So muting the E string with the tip of our finger, barring across the 7th fret this time. This note here is an E. Third finger on the 9th fret of the D, and the little finger on the 9th fret of the B. And that gives us an E7. So if I just go through those chords again, we've got an A7, a D7, and an E7. As the title would suggest, 12-bar chord progression, 12-bar blues, we're going to play across 12 bars. So we play 4 bars of A7, 2 bars of D7, another 2 bars of A7, 1 bar of E7, 1 bar of D7, and then 1 bar of A7 with another bar of E7 to finish, which is known as the turnaround. Okay? The rhythm we're going to use is a shuffle rhythm. Instead of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, we're going to say 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a. We're not going to say it as we play it, but that's how it's written. That's how we're going to think it. So as we play, we've got this rhythm that you've probably heard a few times before. That kind of thing. So what you're actually doing is you're highlighting the a of the 1 and a. Okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so you get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so on. Okay, so here's this backing track. Play along with it. 3, 4. The first lick we're going to look at is over the A7 chord, and we're going to highlight some of the chord tones on there. So this is the lick. So we're highlighting the flat 7 at the end there, which gives us our dominant 7th sound. So that flat 7 there, which is the 5th fret on the D string and also the 8th fret on the B string in this instance. The note we're playing there is the major 3rd, 5th, A, the root. So we're highlighting all the chord tones. So the way we play this is we're going to start on the 5th fret of the G string, and then we're going to hammer on to the 6th fret of the G string. Okay, then we'll play the 5th fret of the B string and the 5th fret of the A string. Finish it off with the 8th fret of the B string. Okay. Now the timing of that is on the A of 1. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and The second lick is over the A7 as well. We're going to do that same thing where we hammer on to the major 3rd on the G string on the 6th fret, but we're going to play a little double stop here. So the lick goes like this. Okay, starts on the 1. 1. So 3 and 4 and 1. So what we use there on that lick, as before, that note there is actually a minor 3rd, so that's why we don't want to sit on it too long because it won't sound great. So we hammer onto a major 3rd. So again, in this lick, we're using a 5th, major 3rd, root, 5th, flat 7, that's actually a 4th, and then the major 3rd again there. So the way we play this is double stop on the 5th fret of the G and B strings, but we'll then hammer on to the 6th fret of the G string. Then we'll play the 7th fret of the D. Then we'll play the 7th fret of the E. And we can roll our finger, or we can play with another finger. That's entirely up to you, whatever you feel comfortable doing. Then we'll play the 5th fret on the D. 7th fret on the A. 5th fret on the A string. Then we'll play the 4th fret on the A string. Now what that note there is the major third, which is this note, as I mentioned before, an octave below. Okay? And then finish it off. You could just finish it off there, or finish it there. Two different ideas you can use there. Okay. The second lick goes over the D7 and looks like this. So what we've got there's the chord. We're starting off with the root here, going to the major third there. There's the 5th. There's the flat 7. Back to the major third. Then we go down to there, which is the 5th. Okay, just so you know some of the chord tones within what we're playing. And then a little hammer on to finish. Back up to the major third. Okay. Second lick in this position here is similar to one which I've done before in one of my other videos. We're going to play this note here, which is the 3rd, and then the flat 7 together there. Okay, so a couple of times. Then we're going to run down from this note here, which is the root. Little chromatic run there, because we're in D, to the flat 7 of the D7. So we get if you bend those two ever so slightly, don't have to reach any particular pitch. Then we can roll our finger over, or we can just use one finger, we can use 3 fingers, it doesn't matter. Okay, and that can start on the 1 as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. The next lick we'll look at is over the E7. Remember, we're using the same shape as the D7, just moving it up to E7. Okay, so the lick we can use for this, now again, I'll just look at all the notes within this. I'll play the lick and then I'll break it down. So we're bending the 8th fret just ever so slightly, so kind of nudge it towards the major third, but it doesn't quite make it. It's a little, we don't really want it to go up there, it's just what we we call a blues bend. Then we've got the 7th fret on the E string there, 9th fret on the E string, so 8th fret on the B, bend it slightly, 7th fret on the E, 9th fret on the E. And then as we come back to the 8th fret of the B, we can play it straight or we can bend it again, like that. And then we play the root, E, then we go down to the 5th there, okay, flat 7, another little hammer on to the root like we did before. You don't have to, you could leave it on the flat 7. Okay. There's another little thing you can do here, and that is, which is always a nice little thank you, Alfie. If we take these 3 notes here, okay, and then we can slide it down to there. Lots of little things we can do with that little chord there. So if we break this down, we've got in here, that's a 6th, quite a jazzy sound. Then we have the major 3rd, then the root, and then if we slide it down to there, we have the 5th, 2nd, and then the flat 7. We can do the same when we're in D as well. The intervals will be the same relative to D. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is a turnaround. I mentioned this previously, bar 12, where it goes back to the E7 before we start again. So what we've got is a sequence of notes that kind of finishes off the solo and brings you back nicely to start it all over again. This is what it sounds like. Okay. Like before, remember we did that on the first lick. So that's 5th fret G string, hammering on to the 6th fret G, major 3rd, those double stops there. Okay. Then we're going to play the flat 7, pull off, little pull off. We can pick it all as well, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But I like a little pull off there. Then we're going to play the 8th fret of the G, 7th fret of the G, 5th fret of the G. Now what I tend to do is play the first note and I pull off back to the 5th fret. Okay. Back to there. Then we've got the 7th fret on the D. Then if we play this 5th fret here, remember I said it was a minor 3rd, we don't want a minor, so we want to bend it ever so slightly away from minor, little blues bend into the almost into the major third, but not quite. Then the 7th fret of the D, and then we're going to hit the 7th fret of the A string twice. Okay, that's all picked, and then that's with the hammer-ons and pull-offs. The lick itself appears over the A7 on bar 11, okay, and it's on the an of 1. So when we're playing, we've got so when you hit that note, that's when you're hitting your bar 12. Give it a go. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video and you managed to get something from it. Please leave a comment if you like the content. Give me a like if you like, and maybe even subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It all helps, and I appreciate you watching. So until next time, bye.